sangat gembira. Ilmu demi faedah insan dikaji rahsia di muka bumi. Di lautan biru, di langit yang tinggi mencari kebesaranmu. Universiti Sultan Zainal Abidin, banggaku menjadi wargamu. Terus cemerlang mencipta kejayaan demi agama, bangsa dan negara. Ilmu demi faedah insan dikaji rahsia di muka bumi. Di lautan biru, di langit yang tinggi mencari kebesaranmu. Universiti Sultan Zainal Abidin, banggaku menjadi wargamu. Terus cemerlang mencipta kejayaan demi agama, bangsa dan negara.
Terima kasih atas komitmen yang diberikan. Saya doakan moga semuanya berada dalam keadaan sihat, sejahtera dan sentiasa tersenyum ceria. Okay, untuk makluman semua penonton, slot kedua bagi program UniCeL 2022 kita pada petang ini bertajuk Hands-on Workshop on Securing SoTL Grant. Maka terlebih dahulu dengan penuh penghargaan, saya mewakili pihak Urustia mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada pembentang kita pada petang ini yang dijemput khas dari utara Malaysia, iaitu TS Dr. Subashini Annamalai. Selamat datang Doktor. Terima kasih atas kelapangan waktu yang diberikan. Okey, bagi memberkati program kita pada petang ini, kita buka majlis dengan umul kitab Al-Fatihah bagi yang beragama Islam. Okey, Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Baiklah, bagi meneruskan sesi kita yang ditunggu-tunggu ini, suka untuk saya berkongsi secara ringkas mengenai biodata penceramah kita yang kita hormati. Okay. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Subashini Annamalai adalah anak kelahiran Kedah, berkepakaran dalam Instructional Multimedia, major in Game-Based Learning. Beliau berpengalaman sebagai pendidik selama 17 tahun, iaitu pernah berkhidmat di sekolah menengah, kolej komuniti, politeknik dan kini di Universiti Utara Malaysia UUM. Kepakaran dan pengalaman beliau dalam inovasi ini terbukti apabila beliau telah berjaya meraih 7 pingat emas dalam pelbagai pertandingan inovasi. Syabas dan tahniah Doktor. Prinsip hidup beliau ialah, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal. Jadi untuk tidak melengahkan masa, saya wakil Urustia berbesar hati menjemput yang berusaha TS Dr. Subashini Annamalai untuk berkongsi segala ilmu, kepakaran dan pengalaman bersama kita pada petang ini. Dengan hormatnya dipersilakan Doktor. Tak dengar Doktor? Mute ke?
Okay. Terima kasih Doktor. Terima kasih. Is my voice loud and clear?
Clear Doktor.
Alright. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. Saya sangat menghargai jemputan daripada Pusat Pengurusan Kecemerlangan dan Inovasi Akademik UniSZA dan UniCeL team khususnya. It's a great pleasure and it's a great honor to be around. Saya mohon maaf sekiranya saya banyak menggunakan bahasa Inggeris dalam workshop ini because I'm quite comfortable using English. I've been using English for some time. Takut bahasa Melayu saya tak begitu lancar ya. So saya mohon maaf.
Okay.
Ya, dua bahasa. Saya akan around, but most probably I'll be using a lot of English, right?
Okay.
Okay. First thing, let me share the slides. All right. Right. Um, can we see the slides?
Yes, Doktor.
Yeah. All right. So today I'm with you to facilitate a workshop under UniCeL 2022 entitled Securing a SoTL Grant. Apa yang kita akan buat dalam workshop kita ini ialah kita akan bincang sedikit sebanyak mengenai requirement of a SoTL grant, apa yang SoTL grant perlukan sebenarnya, dan kita akan juga tengok tips and trick bagaimana kita boleh apa orang cakap win a SoTL grant or secure a SoTL grant, ya. Um, and the next one we will be seeing on the examples. Okay. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Subashini ANNAMALAI. You can call me Sue. Okay, that's my glamour name. My friends call me Sue. I'm a senior lecturer at School of Multimedia Technology and Communication, University Utara Malaysia. Memang anak Kedah, born and brought up in Kedah, tak pernah keluar daripada Kedah pun. Sekadar pergi kerja ke Pulau Pinang saja. Alright, and then my field of expertise adalah instructional multimedia, game design and development, and also assistive multimedia for children. Saya punya expertise more on dyscalculia, dyslexia dan autism children lah. So that's about myself. So not much about myself. Dr. Zuraida have already explained too much. Okay, so what we will be doing in this workshop is first thing we will be touching on the requirement of a SoTL proposal. Then we will be seeing a little bit on tips and tricks of securing a SoTL grant, and also we will be seeing examples from previous SoTL proposals, some amendments or revision that we can do to make that proposal much better. Okay, so that you will have some idea on how to come out with your own SoTL proposal. Right now, just for the ice breaking purpose, can we answer 6 questions in Kahoot just for the to break our ice? We don't want the session to be very formal. I prefer to work with children, so saya anggap semua kawan-kawan seperjuangan saya ni sebagai anak-anak sama seperti saya, ya. So we'll start with ice breaking first. Can we go to Kahoot IT? If you have a mobile, can we go to Kahoot IT? You can also scan the QR code to go to the Kahoot IT. Okay, and let me start with the let me stop the sharing this and start with the Kahoot, yeah. Right. Not very good with the apa orang cakap Teams ni, selalu dia pakai Webex. So Teams ni agak a bit confusing for me. Right, okay. Okay, let's start with the Kahoot. It's just 6 questions just to know whether we are okay with Kahoot or not. All right, so okay. So we'll go to the classic mode and okay. Let me share this again. Right, is the screen can be seen? Is the game pin can be seen?
Yes, Doktor. 453.
4533468. So we are just doing this to break the ice, yeah? Just to refresh our mind.
Bagi yang tak biasa Kahoot, boleh search di Google Kahoot, dia akan keluar terus dan masukkan nombor PIN.
I'm not sure whether the question will come in your own devices ataupun di dalam computer in my screen. I am not sure about that, but hopefully it comes on your screen on your devices. Student sekarang sangat favorite. Tahun ni sangat-sangat favorite among student sekarang ya. This is one of the method to change our teaching techniques or questioning techniques. Kalau kita nak buat formative assessment, kita boleh pakai kaedah ini. Okay, anyone more? Shall we start?
Kita boleh bagi masa lagi sekejap, Doktor?
Ya, boleh.
Okay, saya ulang. Bagi siapa yang tak biasa dengan Kahoot, boleh search di Google Kahoot dan akan masuk, boleh dan kemudian boleh masukkan nombor PIN di atas 453-3468.
Ataupun boleh scan QR code dekat sebelah game PIN tu. Yang ini.
Okay, Doktor. Can we proceed?
Alright, I'll start this ya. Not sure the question is on my device or on your devices. Dr. Zhu, dia punya reaction lambat ke?
Ya, lambat. Kalau di handset ni lambat lah.
Oh, okay. Tapi soal
di PC cepat lagi.
I see. Okay. So, macam mana Doktor? Shall I proceed?
Tak apa. Kita teruskan. Sekurang-kurangnya kita boleh tengok konten.
Okay, alright. Okay, I will explain why design and development is not an element of a SoTL grant in a short while, yeah? Okay, let's move on. Which of these is an indirect evidence of SoTL evaluation? Okay. Okay, let's see the results. Congratulations. And Annie, saya tak tahu siapa dia, tapi congratulations. Okay. Um, just to show that ada benda yang kita tak begitu mahir ya tentang SoTL ni. Right, so let me explain. Right. So first thing yang kita akan we will see is on the requirement of the SoTL proposal. Okay, Doctor, am I clear?
Yes, Doctor. Yes, Doctor. Proceed.
Alright. So basically, what is SoTL? Right, SoTL is actually Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. Ianya tidak bermaksud beasiswa. It's not actually beasiswa, ya. It's not scholarship. Tapi dinamakan sebagai scholarship kerana scholar, okay, scholarly research. Itu yang dipanggil sebagai scholarship. Scholarly dalam bahasa Melayunya ulama ataupun expert. Okay, so bila expert tu buat research dalam teaching and learning, dia dinamakan sebagai Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. Dia bukannya beasiswa. This term came in 1990 by Boyan, ya, somebody named Boyan. He came out with this term, Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. And it is very, very common in US, very common in England. Kita in Malaysia, we have started 10 years back, and now we are progressing very well in the SoTL field. Basically, what is SoTL? SoTL is actually a systematic inquiry into students' learning and your teaching process. So you will be doing some inquiry, pertanyaan ataupun penyelidikan berdasarkan pembelajaran student dan juga proses pengajaran anda sendiri. So it advances the practice of teaching, and also SoTL requires you to make your inquiry finding public. That means we have to share our findings. Kata kita buat satu research dalam kita punya PNP, then kita go and share. We can share it in seminars, we can share it in conferences, we can also share it in a meeting or retreat, and so on and so forth. Please bear in mind that SoTL is teacher directed, and it's solely on the teacher. In our case, it's the lecturer lah, because we are higher education, so we are the teachers, we are the lecturers, we are the facilitators. So it's solely on our shoulder. And it is very, very relevant to the teacher's classroom experience. What I mean teacher here is us. We are actually teaching, so we can be called as teachers. So this is what SoTL is about. Yeah. And moving on to the next one, what do you do in SoTL? Basically, you will be researching your own teaching process, your own course, your own teaching process. Every day we go into the classroom, we will be teaching at least 2 or 3 courses per semester. So this is regarding your own teaching process. And what you will be doing, you will be bridging the gaps between the theory and also the practice. Yeah. Kita selalunya do practice something and then we will find some problem with our student. Mungkin student itu tidak motivated, mungkin dia tidak involved dalam kita punya PNP, mungkin dia tidak ada engagement towards kita punya soalan, atau dia tak nak buat coursework yang kita bagi. So these are all problems. So you need to find a solution for that particular problem. So this solution can be found by doing research. Yeah. So research ni, macam mana kita nak cari solution? Kita find from other people's research ataupun kita come up with our own solution. So ini adalah proses kita buat SoTL. So basically we will be doing research on our own teaching process, and the problem comes from our own class. The problem comes from our own student. Sometimes maybe our own teaching. Yeah. So it can be anything regarding our teaching process. So moving on, how do you start? How do you end? So basically, first thing, you will recognize a problem or opportunity in your teaching curriculum. For example, I'm teaching STIB 1023, that is Multimedia Foundation. So I found out that the student doesn't know how to use computer. So that's a problem, right? So I will be going and doing some literature review or finding people to talk to and explore the best practice and develop a plan to address my problem, right? So when I do that, I'm actually starting my research. So I will find a best practice and then I say, hey, this practice is good. Let me apply it in my class. Then I'll take that plan and go and implement the plan. When you implement a teaching plan, you call it as teaching projects. Yeah, teaching projects. So you will implement that idea or the plan. And finally, you will conduct the research to assess the impact on the SoTL outcome. Okay, this is where your what you call that, your SoTL stand. Okay, basically your SoTL will stand in these two things. These two. This is what you call as SoTL research. You will find problem, you will find a way to solve the problem, and when you implement the solution and find you access how effective the solution is, this is what you call SoTL. And then you take your findings here, this is your findings, isn't it? And then you share with people, you disseminate it. Okay, findings, and then you share with people. You go and tell people, hey, I've done this and I found this is very effective. So people can use your idea and apply that in their own teaching process. So I would like to remind you again, these two things is very, very important in a SoTL process. Okay, now, SoTL grant. So every year, our RMIC or UTLC, in this case, is CHOMEL. CHOMEL, yeah? CHOMEL, how do you pronounce it?
Chome.
Okay, okay. CHOMEL is the one who's proposing or is giving you the SoTL grant. So SoTL grant is actually a complete description of the SoTL, what you're gonna do about that particular problem. So it's actually a project narrative whereby you will be undertaking systematic inquiry about students' learning or the teaching process and going public with the results. Like I said, you will be getting a plan, you will be implementing the plan, and then you will be assessing its impact, and then you will find a result for it, isn't it? Then you are going to go public on it. So basically that is what SoTL grant is all about. So in your case, in UniSZA's case, the purpose of SoTL grant is to fund instructional research project. Yeah, please bear in mind, it is instructional. It has something to do with your teaching and learning process. So to fund instructional research project, that will benefit the UniSZA's teaching and learning community, and also to ensure that the results of the instructional research projects are being shared and disseminated among the UniSZA's community. Maybe UniSZA has their own ISS, Inspirational Scholars Symposium or things like that, whereby the SoTL grant receivers will share their findings. Yeah. So that is what SoTL grant is all about. Yeah, I need to explain from the beginning because we might have some newcomers or new researchers in the team. So I need to explain from the beginning. Yeah, please, for the experts one, this might be a little bit boring for you, but please bear with me. All right. Okay. Now, what the SoTL grant proposal should have? Okay, this is what is very important in SoTL grant. The first thing, which is very, very important, is a specific aim. In another word, we call it as objectives. Okay, objective sangat-sangat penting. So you need to find the problem, okay, the problem or opportunities and what you want to do about it. Apa yang kita nak buat? Apa masalah kita dan apa yang kita nak buat untuk solve masalah kita. That is our specific aims. Then you will have your literature review. sebagaimana yang kita buat dalam grant universiti dan sebagainya, FRGS, PGRS, kita ada literature review. That is very common. That is no issues at all. And then you will be having a section called methods. This is where you will write down your procedure to implement best practices or your teaching project. Okay, so kena ada procedure macam mana kita nak solve problem tersebut. Satu demi langkah. Okay, this is your methodology. And then you have your evaluation process. You will be evaluating impact on the teaching project on the outcome as specified in your aim. So this is your aim, your objective. Your evaluation akan tally kepada your objective. And finally, how you are going to disseminate your findings. Okay, so kita boleh buat secara internally or externally. Externally maksudnya kita pergi conference dan kita share kita punya findings. Internally kadang-kadang kita ada retreat session ataupun kita ada seminar dalaman di mana kita boleh share kita punya findings. So this is very important untuk share because you need to know that this way is effective. Okay, for example, I'm teaching one paper this semester, so I have find a new way to teach that paper or that course. Then next semester, somebody else will take it, isn't it? So you need to give your findings to other people so that that person can say, hey, Dr. Su's idea is very good. I'm going to apply it in my class. So when that grows, that is what you call as scholarship of teaching and learning. It's about sharing. Orang kata sharing is caring, isn't it? It's about sharing our findings. Yeah, this is the one very important in our SoTL grant and also important in our proposal. Right now, how do you do your SoTL? Various ways, a lot of ways. You can do your SoTL in a lot of ways. Some of it you can do case study, you can do focus group, interview, questionnaire, surveys. You can do quasi-experimental, you can do observation tracking, secondary data, think aloud, a lot of ways. You can also use quantitative way, content analysis, or discourse, okay, about students' assignment or students' portfolio, students' journal, doesn't matter. The inquiry method is various. You can apply any kind of method. But the thing is, how you are going to do it. What are the procedure of you doing it? How do you implement that thing into your SoTL research? That is the most important thing. So once you have an idea of how to implement your SoTL, you will move on to the evaluation part. Okay, what do you evaluate? Basically, the expected outcome and impact of your project is very, very important. You must describe in your proposal, you must describe how you will assess the success of your project. Okay, you have implemented, then how are you going to assess the success? And your proposal, okay, I'm touching on the proposal first because you need to have a winning proposal in order to secure your grant. Yeah? So that's why I'm talking about proposal right now. So your proposal must detail out what you will be measuring and how are you going to measure it, why the measures are appropriate. And you also must write down or must list down how are you going to collect the data. What kind of instrumentation that you will be using and what kind of statistic methods that you will be using. Okay, this one is you will be putting it in the evaluation methodology. Yeah? In your proposal, we call it methodology. Inside methodology itu dalam bahagian methodology itu kita akan letak bagaimana kita akan buat evaluation. Right? So your evaluation section must clearly indicate how your evaluation methods are directly linked to your objective and also your intended outcome. So kena tally balik kepada kita punya research question, kena tally balik kepada kita punya research objective dan sebagainya. Alright, so macam mana kita nak buat evaluation ni? Apakah langkah-langkah yang kita boleh buat? See, there is direct evidence and there is indirect evidence of students learning. So, apa itu direct evidence, apa itu indirect evidence. So, all this quantitative, qualitative data, formative, summative assessment, ini semua adalah evidence kita, isn't it? So, direct evidence. You can take sample of students' work, their essays, their in-class writing, their lab report, and then buat satu analysis and say, hey, my student have achieved, or my student have scored, or they have performed. Or you can do observation on the students either in person or videotape. Now we are doing remote learning, e-learning, so we can record our class and then observe our student what they are doing. And then we can also get the students' reflection. Kadang-kadang kita suruh student tu buat journal atau buat refleksi ataupun buat portfolio dan sebagainya. Iaitu adalah direct evidence. Indirect evidence adalah respons-respons yang diberikan oleh student kepada survey atau interview question kita. Kita tanya dia. Hari ni tadi pakai Kahoot, rasa okey tak? Menarik tak? This kind of things. Okay, so these are when they give you response that are indirect evidence. And also you can write your own reflection. I'm not sure, but when I was a teacher, we always have this lesson plan. At the end of the lesson plan, in today's class, my student have done this, and this. Okay, that is instructor's reflection. That is indirect evidence. Alright, so you can take any of this method. Kadang-kadang boleh guna satu method ataupun 2-3 method sekali. You can use quantitative method or qualitative method or mixed methods. Doesn't matter. As long as you get the evidence to show that your particular plan is successful. Okay? Alright, nanti kita tengok satu persatu. Okay? Alright, so what is the difference between SoTL and university grant? Okay, this is where we always make mistake as a researcher, especially in university. We are very keen on doing university grants. Di UUM kita panggil dia geran penjanaan. I'm not sure what you call it in UniSZA. Penjanaan. We have SoTL and we have geran penjanaan. So what is the difference between SoTL and university grant? Okay, first thing, SoTL emphasize on the procedure, okay, procedure and implementation of teaching project. Dia menekankan kepada prosedur dan juga pelaksanaan projek pengajaran dan pembelajaran. Whereas university emphasize on application development or idea generation. Sama ada we come up with the conceptual model ataupun kita design and develop a mobile app ataupun augmented reality dan sebagainya. Alright, so that is the difference. Please bear in mind that SoTL is about implementation. Kita tak akan letak objektif kita sebagai design and development. To design and develop a mobile application to help the students. No, we are not going to do that. We are going to see what is the effect of mobile application on students learning process. Macam tu kita punya ni. Nanti kita tengok, bila kita tengok contoh nanti kita akan faham ya. Alright, next is SoTL is conducted to investigate the effectiveness of teaching projects, whereas university grant are conducted to investigate the functionality of an application or validation of an idea. So these are the two main difference between SoTL and university grant. Again, when I came into the varsity, when I first received my SoTL grant, SoTL proposal, I did the same mistake as well because we are very into design and development. So I put that to develop a mobile application to help my students to do programming. So it's not a SoTL research. That is actually a university research. Yeah, SoTL research is to evaluate the effectiveness of a mobile application on students' programming comprehension. Itu baru SoTL. Nampak beza dia antara design and development dengan implementation. That's the difference. Yeah, later we will see when it comes to Two examples, we will see what we are going to how we going to differentiate between SoTL and university grant. Right. Now, tips and trick of securing SoTL grant. Basically, when you want to win a SoTL grant, you have to have a very good proposal. Your proposal must be extremely good, no errors, no nothing. Then you can win SoTL grant. Not sure, but the previous proposal that I saw, the amount is 20K. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Zhu. Is it 20K?
30K, Doctor.
Yeah, 20K.
30K.
30. Oh, 30K. Okay, your shilling is 30K, isn't it? All right. Okay, good. So in UUM, we are only given 10K. Our shilling is 10K for us to do SoTL. I will explain why we just need little bit of money. You need to do SoTL. All right. The first tip is please take note of your research question. Your research question must be specific and clearly linked to the proposed intervention. Let me show you an example, yeah? Okay, this one. The first one is a generic one. Okay, normally what we will do, we will write something like this. What is the effect of DADIC method on the students? Okay, this one is a very generic. But for SoTL, you need to come out with a specific one. What effect will participating in the deduct method based teaching and learning process have on the students' digital skills and in a hands-on digital classroom? Okay, can you see? This is the method. This is the intervention that I'm going to use, the intervention. Okay, and then this is the DV, dependent variable. And then this one is the context of my teaching and learning process. This is the context. The context is who, what, where, all that are called as context, yeah? Who, what, and where. So when you do your research question, make sure it has the intervention, it has the DV, dependent variable, and also it has the context. This context can be different on undergrad students, in a digital classroom, in academic classroom, so and so forth, right? It can change. But this one and this one, you have to make sure it's the right one, yeah? Intervention and DV. Okay, let's see another example. Okay, the general statement, normally what you will write is, how can I increase the quality of students' class presentation? Okay, but when you do a specific one for your SoTL, will completing a self-help module on effective use of presentation software improve the engagement or discussion of the class during student class presentation? Okay, let's break it down. This is the intervention. Okay, intervention. And this one is the students' DV. You are going to check on the students' engagement and discussion, and where the context is inside the class presentation. This is our context. So we have to make sure our research question has this kind of information: intervention, dependent variable, and also the context. Okay, moving on. The next one. How can OCVIC, OCVIC is a name of a mobile application. OCVIC helps students to learn OSI model. Pada pandangan kasar, ni nampak okey kan? Dia nampak macam, okey je, tak ada masalah. Tapi when you go to SoTL specific research question, you have to make it into it has to have the intervention, the DV, and also the content. How do students perceive their learning? So we will be talking on students' perception. Yeah. Perception. Okay, this is our DV. On a topic related to OSI, this is our context. And using OCVIC, this is our intervention. So this is how you break down into your research questions. So make sure your research questions are specific and not general. Okay, another example. The first one is a generic. What is the effect of Pecha Kucha? Pecha Kucha is a software for presentation. Pecha Kucha on students' presentation for marketing subject. Okay, it may look okay to you, but what does it mean by student perception? Where is the DV? Is this a DV? Student presentation. What student presentation? So you can make it specific, like what is the students and lecturers perception? Okay, we are talking about perception. This is our DV of Pecha Kusha. This is our intervention for marketing subject. This is our context. So make sure it has all these three elements in your research question. Next, the last one, the last example. Okay, how does think aloud strategy help to enhance critical reading skills among undergraduate students? Okay, you say, doctor, I have intervention here. I have critical reading skill here. Oh, this is my DV. This is my context. Fine. But where do you apply that? Undergraduate student in what field? So you can revise that to how do you think aloud strategy help to enhance critical reading skill in IAP program among undergraduate students. So this is our context. Ini siapa, tapi ini di mana. Alright? So this is how you write your specific research question. Okay, moving on. Any questions so far from the floor? Okay.
Semua tengah fokus, doktor.
Okay. Takut semua tidur. Sekarang waktu tidur kan? Alright. Okay, now moving on to the learning outcome. Alright. So normally what I will do, I will do the research objective first. Okay, my intended learning outcome first, then come out with my research question. That is what I will do normally. Alright. So basically, you have to have a very good or a very precise learning outcome. What you want your student to achieve. Okay, so you list down the effective intended learning outcome for your course or relevant section for your course, and what changes that might result in the learning of your students after you use that new intervention of yours or new idea of yours. After you use that, then you get some changes, isn't it? So what kind of changes that you might be expecting from that particular intervention, and which intended learning outcome might be better achieved by the successful implementation of your SoTL intervention. Like I said, you need to know what is your objective and how your intervention, your idea or teaching project will change your objectives. Example, right? General statement: after participating in a group project, student will be able to better understand and use concept of space. Di mana? Right? So, you know that group project, but involving what? Where is your intervention here? Where is your intervention? So, you need to come out with your specific research objective. After participating in, this is LOC, learning outcome, yeah? After participating in a group project assignment involving direct field observation, this is the intervention, yeah? This is the intervention. Student will be likely to recognize and apply. So this one is your learning outcome. So what am I writing? Okay, learning outcome. So your learning at that, you want the student to recognize and apply space concept within novel context after using intervention called direct field observation in their group project assignment. So that's the specific one. Okay, next one. Following instructions, student will be able to give high quality presentation. Okay, this is actually a learning outcome, but it's not specific. It's very general. So to make it specific, after completing the self-help model, this one is the intervention on the student's presentation software. Student will engage in more discussion. So this is kita punya outcome. So make sure your learning outcome is specific. If it's not specific, then your research question will not be specific as well. I will show you how objectives and research question works parallelly in a short while, yeah, when we go to the examples. Right, tips number 3, your methodology. When you write your methodology in your proposal, you make sure that you provide a brief description on your proposed research design and method. So what is your method? How are you going to implement your research? And what is the research procedures? You may have step-by-step fasa or step-by-step langkah-langkah yang perlu dilaksanakan. Okay, so that are research procedure. And how will you be measuring the impact on student engagement, learning or success? So kita kena tahu macam mana kita nak measure. That one is also it must be stated in your proposal. Will you be using quantitative? Will you be using qualitative, or are you going to use mixed measures? Okay, so that depends on how you're going to do. Kan tadi saya ada describe on the inquiry methods kan? So this one must be there in your proposal. Make sure you put exactly what you want to do. And next, how will you analyze your data? Are you going to use UNCOA, or are you going to use PET t-test? Are you going to do transcription of the interview, or are you going to give them questionnaire and then are you going to analyze that questionnaire scores? Depends. We have various ways of doing SoTL research, not one. Tak semestinya everything is action research, ya. Tapi you can use different methods to do your SoTL. In that case, SoTL is very open. Kita tak ada halangan, SoTL tak ada halangan kata, hey, you must use action research or you must use case study. Tak ada macam tu. Kita boleh guna apa-apa sahaja kaedah, tapi kita kena letak kat situ prosedur. Bagaimana kita nak buat kita punya research. Prosedur dan langkah untuk kita measure impact kita tu sangat penting. Dua benda ini sangat-sangat penting dalam SoTL grants. Okay? Alright. Now, this is one of the example. This is based on my SoTL grant. I did a SoTL research on DADIC method. It's a very new method. Tak pernah orang pakai lagi. Okay, so it's like, so this is how I write the methodology. Okay. First, you will have to say where do you put or where do you do that particular research, and who is your sample. Please remind yourself that this research must be done inside the scope of your own teaching. So your student, you have to get your student as your respondents and sample. So I said sample is undergraduate student who will enroll in the STIV 2023 course in what semester? Last semester. This is last semester. And this research will employ action research design based on COPE 1984 experiential learning cycle. So I've already said, okay, I'm going to use action research. Okay, now moving on, I will break it down. So how long I'm going to do it? One semester. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to use DADIC method, and these are my langkah-langkah or my fasa or phases of my implementation. I'm going to use the method analysis. I'm going to do literature review. I'm going to identify the teaching techniques suitable for DADIC method. I'm going to develop the action plan, and I'm going to implement the DADIC method for 14 weeks. And then I'm going to do evaluation, and I'm going to do observation. So I've already explained the research procedure. And what instrument am I going to use? So I'm going to use a rubric to measure digital skills. I'm going to use a questionnaire to measure the students' perception. And I'm going to do an observation to see whether the DADIC method works or not. So how many inquiry method am I using here? Rubric 1, questionnaire 2, and then observation 3. So 3 types of inquiry method. And I said this data I will be doing quantitatively and qualitatively. So this is a part of the methodology. Ini bukan penuh ya, metodologi penuh. Ada banyak lagi metodologi itu sangat panjang, tapi this is some of the things that you need to put in your proposal. Okay. Right. The next one is budget. How will your project budget be spent? Like in UUM, we are offered 10K, sometimes 6K, depending on how hard is our SoTL proposal is. Yeah, if the project is big, then we'll be rewarded with 10K. If it's a small scale, then 6K is the maximum one. So how will you describe, how will you spend this money? So you have to describe exactly how much you will be allocating for each specified vote. Break it down. So you must write down, okay, so I'm going to go for an international conference. So this much of pay, how many times I'm going, so total. And then what else? I'm going to publish in a Scopus journal. So this is the fee. So I'm going to do 2 publications, so this much. So break it down, okay, break it down. And I'm going to give some honorarium or some token to the respondent, my students. So I'm spending around 300 ringgit for that. So break it down. So it's easy for your panel to see if you break this down rather than giving a lump like that. Okay, what 2900? Kita panggil word 29 kan? Word 29, 6,000. Oh, like that. No, we don't do that. We break it down. So it's easier for them. Then you'll see, oh, this particular lecturer wants to do a project like this, and this is how she's going to spend her money. Okay, good. Then they will give us that money. They will grant you the money. So this is how you secure your winning proposals, okay? All right, so basically, your SoTL proposal should have, very importantly, your research question must be very, very specific. Your objective must be very, very specific as well, and articulate in terms of intended student learning outcome, what you want the student to achieve at the end of your teaching project. And then you have a very brief or targeted review of your literature. Tak perlu panjang-panjang literature tu. Literature tu hanya tak perlu buat macam kita buat PhD punya literature review. Okay, just a very brief but very targeted. Narrow it down. Jadikan dia kecil. And then you need, this is very important, you need a well-articulated plan describing the procedure of the implementation and how the project will impact on the student and how it will be accessed. Okay, this one is very important. The implementation and the evaluation. Okay, this is the implementation and the evaluation. This one is very important. And your SoTL proposal also must have significance of the project. How are you going to contribute to the teaching and learning? And how are you going to share it to other people? So you can say, okay, I'm going to go for a conference, or I'm going to write a book on this particular implementation. Okay, so you need to describe how are you going to contribute to the teaching and learning process, and how are you going to disseminate your knowledge. And finally, your budget. Very sustainable budget for with justification for each items. Right. You have to be careful when you request for this money because SoTL grant are teaching and learning um, research. So you don't need much money to actually do teaching and learning research in your own classroom. So when you request for a lot of money, it will be a very troublesome thing to finish that money. I don't know about UniSZA, but in UUM, that money will be taken away if we cannot finish. Okay, so you have to have an idea of how you want to do your research, vision it first, get it in your mind, and then you will know, okay, I just need this much of money because I'm going to give to the expert, I'm going to give to the student, I'm going to develop this application, I'm going to go for this conference, I'm going to do a workshop or attend a workshop. Okay, this much money is enough for me. That's it. All right, so this is what a successful SoTL proposal will have. Right, now moving on to the main part. Let's see some of the previous example. Right, first thing, I'm not going to say that these proposals are wrong. They are perfectly good, perfect, and they have been awarded with good amount of money for their SoTL grant. But it can be revised into a better SoTL words. The wording, basically it's the wording, yeah. So we are going to touch a little bit on the mistakes that they have done so that you will get some idea on how you can come up with your own proposal. I have already requested the permission from the Chome so that I can use these proposals. Yeah. Again, this is a disclaimer. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just making it better. All right. Okay. So the first one, this is the first example. As you can see, you up here, this one is the objective, and this one is the research question. Okay, when you see this, what do you see? Kajian ini bertujuan untuk mereka bentuk aktiviti PDP menggunakan flip classroom untuk khusus MPO. Okay. Berikut adalah dua objektif. Okay, menentukan tahap keberkesanan and then mengkaji kesan kaedah. Okay, the first one. Let's see the objective first. Alright, what do you see here is this word. Mereka bentuk. Please bear in mind that SoTL research tidak mereka bentuk apa-apa aktiviti. Kita hanya melaksanakan aktiviti PDP. Okay, kita akan laksanakan aktiviti PDP dan kita akan tengok keberkesanan dia. Okay, so the word mereka bentuk tu maybe disalahgunakan. Alright. Okay, the first one, the first objective. Tepat, menentukan tahap keberkesanan penggunaan flip classroom. Very goodly done. You see, this is the intervention. This is the context. Okay. So we have the keberkesanan. Nak tengok keberkesanan, intervention dalam konteks yang mana. Tapi yang ni pun kita boleh, we can revise this into a better word like this. Kalau kita cakap macam ni, lagi best. Menentukan tahap keberkesanan penggunaan flip classroom intervention menerusi pembelajaran berasaskan projek dalam kursus MPO 32092. Right? So, it's a very good terms, but this is a much better. The next one, mengkaji kesan kaedah flip classroom menerusi pembelajaran berasaskan projek terhadap pencapaian pelajar. You see, pencapaian pelajar dalam kursus MPU 32092. So, I find this very good because you have the intervention here, you have the context here, and then you have the DV here. Pencapaian pelajar is DV. Di mana? Dalam kursus MPU. So, this one, the next one is for, this one is good, yeah? This one is good. Okay, next one is the research question. Okay, the first one, apakah kerangka PDP yang dapat meningkatkan pencapaian pelajar setelah melalui kaedah flip classroom menerusi. Okay, pada dasarnya on the fundamental level, this one looks nice, isn't it? But as a SoTL researcher, this is not okay. Di mana not okay? Di perkataan kerangka ni, framework. We are not going to come out with any framework. We are not going to generate any idea. We are going to implement that framework into the kita punya TNP. Okay. Maybe akan ada persoalan ataupun there will be a question asking me, kalau kita tak buat framework, macam mana? Kalau kita tak ada develop material tu, macam mana kita nak access kita punya student? Yes, develop material atau developing ideas ataupun apa-apa saja memang ada dalam SoTL. Tapi benda itu tidak boleh dijadikan sebagai objektif ataupun research question kita. Dalam metodologi, maybe kita boleh state down, I'm going to develop a mobile application to help the students. Boleh. Benda itu akan ada. Tapi it's not part and parcel of the research objective ataupun research question. Okay, nanti kita akan tengok satu example yang sangat baik dan you will see. So in this word, the word kerangka, framework, is not applicable in SoTL research. How can you revise this statement? Macam ni. Apakah tahap keberkesanan kaedah flip classroom menerusi pembelajaran berasaskan projek untuk mengajar khusus MPO 32092? So you can just revise the same thing into these words. Okay. The next one is apakah kesan? Yang tu memang cemerlang lah. So kita tak ada apa-apa. Memang dia akan cari kesan kaedah flip classroom intervention di mana dekat pencapaian student DV dalam konteks MPU. Okay? So that is the first example. Alright. Moving on to the next example, right? This is one of the objective. I couldn't find the research question, so this is the objective. Can we know where is the mistake? The first one. The student embarked on the following objectives: to develop an interactive writing skill using a collection of arts integrated activities in enhancing lower primary school students' basic sentence construction. Where is the mistakes? Anyone? There's no right and wrong, ya. Boleh cuba, kita sama-sama belajar. Saya tak marah pun, saya tak makan orang. Anyone? Dia ada kesalahan kat sini. Di mana kesalahan tersebut?
To develop.
To develop, very good. To develop. Any more? One more? Kalau student saya dah panggil dah. Darlings, are you sleeping? Macam tu. Tapi kita persyarat tak boleh nak panggil macam tu. Alright, so let me explain, ya. Okay, the first one is not a good sentence. Okay, let me show you why. The first thing is to develop. We are not going to develop anything. That should not be objective. Yes, we will be developing in the methodology part. Tapi benda itu tidak akan diletakkan sebagai objektif kita. Objektif SoTL tidak melibatkan design and development of instructional materials. Okay? So, perkataan develop tu, it's not appropriate as a SoTL research. The next one is this one. Lower primary school students. We are lecturers, we are teaching in higher education. We have to do, SoTL is about researching your own teaching process. Kita tak mengajar student primary school, isn't it? So, kita tak boleh letak lower primary school students. So, secara generiknya, benda ini adalah salah. Tapi, I think this is an error of cut and paste error, something like that, because proposal proposal persyarat ini sangat perfect. cuma kesalahan pada lower primary school student tersebut. Okay, so please avoid that. Okay, so you can just write this in a different way. To investigate the effect of interactive writing strategy, as you can see here, the effect, okay, and interactive writing strategy is our intervention using a collection of arts integrated activities in enhancing the foreign students' basic sentence construction. This is our DV and this is our context. Okay. Second one, to evaluate the effectiveness of using a collection of art integrated activities in enhancing lower primary school student basics. Okay, I find this very good. Okay, this one is a very good sentence. So the only mistake that has been done is this copy paste kind of issue. I think lower primary school student, we are basically university students lah, maybe tertulis ke apa ke. Okay, we give them a benefit of doubt. Okay, so but anyways, to evaluate the effectiveness of using a collection of arts integrated activity, this is the intervention, and to enhance the basic sentence construction, this is the DV. Cuma dia kena letak satu lagi, which is the context. Itu sahaja. Right? Next one, example 3. Objective and research. You have to see the objective and the research together. What do you think is the mistake here? Quite a number of mistakes, yeah? The first thing that your panel will notice, okay, kalau kita hantar proposal, the first thing yang panel kita akan notice adalah your RO dan RQ tak parallel. It's not parallel. You see, this is to develop and how can application here. Dia tak parallel. Okay, I will explain this one by one in a short while. Tapi make sure your RO and RQ are parallel. Setiap kali kita buat kena RQ kita ni kena base dekat RO kita. RO kita kena be based dengan RQ. This must be tallied. Okay, must be parallel. Alright. The first one, objective of the research. Okay, to develop an interesting application to help students understand better in mechanism of organic chemistry. Very good. The idea is very, very good. The only mistake that it has been done is this one, the word develop. As I said, SoTL's objective, jangan letak developing, design and developing ataupun conceptualing ataupun modeling. Jangan letak benda tu. It solely has to be on the implementation and also to evaluate. Dua benda ni. Your objective should be implementation. How do you implement something and what is the impact of that implementation? Ini dua is your objective, your main objective. So how do you revise this? Dia akan cakap to investigate the outcome of using AR application on the students' understanding of the mechanism of organic chemistry. Sebenarnya dia nak cakap benda ni lah. Tapi dia letak to develop tu, perkataan to develop tu tak begitu kena dengan SoTL. Alright, the next one. To assess the effectiveness of teaching and learning using application of augmented reality on to higher achieving and lower achieving students. Okay, this one, no comments. Perfect. Okay, so, but kalau nak revise balik wording ni untuk tally kepada kita punya research question, okay, tengok research question dia adalah is it interesting application will attract student to learn more. Kalau nak tally balik benda tu, right? So we can just put in like this. We can just make it to evaluate the effectiveness of the AR application to attract students to learn chemistry via virtual learning. Ataupun kalau nak juga pakai yang ni, objektif yang ni, kita boleh tukar dia sebagai to access the effectiveness of augmented reality on high achieving and low achieving students comprehension. Okay, on chemistry dan sebagainya. Okay, just tukar little bit je. dan dia akan jadi perfect. Okay? So this is how you write your objective. Now moving on to the research question. How application of AR can help students to understand better the mechanism of organic chemistry. I find it perfect, cuma perlu diolah kembali. The ayat tu kita kena olah kembali lah untuk menerangkan ataupun untuk to show the actual SoTL kind of sentence. So macam mana kita nak buat tu? How can the AR application help students to understand the mechanism of organic chemistry in the organic classroom or cell chemistry classroom and whatnot? Saya dah olah balik benda ni. Sebenarnya benda yang sama. Cuma ini lebih SoTL sentence. Ayat SoTL. Kita panggil ayat SoTL. Dia punya, we call it SoTL sentence. The next one, is it interesting application will attract students to study more towards virtual learning. Diolah kembali, dia akan jadi do the AR application attract student to learn chemistry via virtual learning. Benda yang sama, tapi saya tukar dia, saya revise dia jadi SoTL, ayat SoTL sentence. Okay, I did not say that this is wrong. I have just revised it into a better SoTL sentence. Nah, jangan pergi bagi tahu tuan punya awak buat silap. No, it's not wrong. It's just that it's a better version of SoTL sentence. Okay, now let's see example 4. How research question dia, bagaimana penerapan AR dapat membantu pelajar menggunakan persamaan dengan memahami teori dalam fenomena fizik. Apa mistake dia? Tak ada mistake. Perfect. Penerapan AR, pelajar, cuma dia tak ada DV. Dia tak ada DV. Maybe dia akan jadi macam ni. Bagaimana penerapan aplikasi AR dapat membantu pelajar memahami teori. Ini DV dia. Memahami teori dalam kursus fizik gunaan. I'm just going to, kat sini dia punya ni rasanya yang ni kot. Menggunakan persamaan ni adalah DV dia kot. Right? So this is correct. Okay, and another SoTL version would be like this lah. Okay, next one, adakah aplikasi ini dapat menarik pelajar untuk belajar lebih banyak ke arah pembelajaran yang baik? Yes, very good sentence, SoTL sentence, revised. Adakah penggunaan aplikasi AR dapat menarik minat pelajar untuk belajar kursus fizik gunaan melalui pembelajaran maya? Pembelajaran salah eja here. Pembelajaran maya. So, the same wording, I change it to SoTL wording. Itu sahaja. Tapi, maksud dia adalah sama. Ini pun boleh. Tapi ini lebih better. The next one is, this is the RQ and this is the RO. So, where is the mistake? Again. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, the RQ, no issues at all. Perfect. Can the use of chronic disease module incorporated virtual patient consultation improve the confidence levels of medical students during family medicine posting? Okay, this module is the IV, this is the DV, and this is the contact. Okay, so perfect, no issues. Next, what is their feedback from the chronic disease module that was developed to facilitate acquiring the consultation script? Also, no error at all. I could find the IV, I could find the DV, and I could find the context. 3 things. Perfect. Next, this is the RO to develop an e-learning model. Nampak perkataan develop ni dah terus muka jadi monyok. Okay, so this the word develop is not a SoTL sentence. Okay, the next one, to test the effectiveness of a learning model developed in improving students' confidence level. Very good. It has the learning model intervention. It has the DV. Missing out satu benda je, the context. Kena ada context in their consultation skills ke ataupun during family medical posting ke. Okay, and please make sure your RO and RQ are parallel. Kena bagi benda yang sama. RQ selalunya akan keluar daripada RO. So that is a very, very important thing that we have to look into. Okay, next one. Example 6. We have to determine the general attitude towards the benefits of using mobile phone application in teaching and learning. And you see the R question. What is the general attitude using the benefits of mobile application in teaching and learning? See, parallel, sangat parallel. And to identify the difficulties of using mobile application in teaching and learning, and what is the difficulties? Nampak? So this is a very good one. Why? Because your RO and RQ are parallel, and your learning outcome, this one, your learning objective, emphasizes on the changes that might result and can be achieved in the learning process. Dia ada general DV, dia ada dia punya dia punya IV, cuma dia tak letak dekat mana konteksnya lah, dekat konteks. And next one is your RQ, also very specific and very clearly links to the proposed intervention. Memang kita ada intervention, cuma dia miss out konteks, itu saja. So, but the parallel thing, this makes what a SoTL grant a good grant, okay? Penilai akan tengok, okay, pensyarah ni atau penyelidik ni tahu macam mana nak parallelkan dia punya RO ataupun RQ, nak tally balik RO dan RQ. So that is a very, very important thing. And again, in SoTL grant, kita tak boleh guna perkataan develop or formulate, benda-benda ni. Kita tidak mengguna pakai benda tu. Benda itu akan ada dalam metodologi, tapi not on your RO ataupun RQ, yeah? Alright, the next one talking about budget allocation. So, the allocation, your budget for SoTL is allowed for instructional material developer. Kita boleh bagi duit kepada developer kalau kita hire student kita ke ataupun kita hire orang lain, outsider or outsource untuk develop kita punya instructional material, kita boleh bayar. Tapi the D&D proses tu jangan letak dalam RO ataupun RQ. Okay? Walaupun kita develop. And total budget allocation is not allowed for collecting data. Kita tak boleh hire orang lain untuk collect data dalam kelas kita. SoTL is about you doing research in your own classroom. So yang collect datanya siapa? Kita sendiri. So takkan nak bayar orang lain untuk collect data kita kan? Ini beza antara grant universiti dan SoTL grant. So kena take note ya. For budget, it's not allowed for collecting data. Okay. Just to remind, saya bagi tahu awal-awal, so next time when you do your SoTL grant, jangan letaklah untuk collecting data tu. Kita boleh bayar GRA, tapi letak GRA tu sebagai jangan bayar dia semata-mata untuk collecting data saja. Dia boleh bantu dalam analisis, data analisis dan sebagainya. So don't put this term, collecting data. You can put data analysis ke ataupun developer ke dan sebagainya. Collecting data is your job as a lecturer. Okay, so example 1. This is one example. Where is the mistake? Apa mistake dia?
Juru lapangan.
Example, yang ni, tak. This one is, I think it comes together with your proposal punya template tu. Yang ini. Tak ada breakdown. Nampak breakdown? Dia kena ada breakdown, kena ada pecahan. Contoh, saya kena pergi atas balik. Kat mana tadi? Where is it? Somewhere here, isn't it? Breakdown. Hilang pula. Right. You have to write down the breakdown so that you can know, that your panel can know what you're going to do with the money. Okay? Rather than that, if you put it lump sum like this, right? In Kedah, we call it lamsam. Tak tahu Terengganu pakai apa. Lamsam means satu bulk macam tu. RM500. Nak buat apa research material supplies ni RM500? Ataupun kita nak bayar untuk professional services. 14,000. What are you going to do with 14,000? So it's like, it's better if you can link down. Kat sini maybe ada linkage ni. Kandungan multimedia, I think this is for the developer. Right? So this is actually a lot of money. Okay? Tengok 14,000 tu is a lot of money actually. But it's better for you if you can break down here. Rather than put it here, you just break down. Okay, I'm going to buy a book, RM500. I'm going to subscribe for a journals, so RM500. If you can put it here, then it would be much nicer. Right. Example 2, this one. Where is the mistake? This word here. This page to collect and analysis data. Analysis data boleh, tapi collect data tak boleh. Because the one who's supposed to collect data is you. You are the lecturer. The research is conducted in your own classroom under your own supervision. So who's going to collect the data? Supposed to be you. You are the one who's observing the student. You are the one who's marking the student's portfolio. You are the one who's marking their formative assessment or summative assessment. So you are the one who's collecting data. So you don't have to pay somebody to use the money. Okay. So analysis data. Okay. And RM1,000 for 6 months or just for analysis data is too much. Yeah, it's too much. So please make sure the amount that you are quoting here tallies to what you are breaking down the money that is given to you. All right. So you can write like this. This one is a very good one. You see, put in research assistant, and then they put this research assistant will do work for the development and also data description. Dia bayar RM40 je. So total 1,600 untuk kawan tu. Alright. So this one is, okay, breakdown pun ada. How many percent? 2%, 20 days, RM40 each. Then ini sikit lah, sangat sikit ya. Amount yang sangat sikit untuk RM40 je dia bayar nak buat dua-dua benda ni. So too little. Alright. Ini terlampau banyak, ini terlampau sikit. Okay? Alright. So please make sure you pay the person accordingly, and then don't be too much or don't be too stingy with the money. So be careful when you pay people. Okay? Right. And then moving on to the methodology part. Okay. What do I see here? Okay. If you have this word, membangunkan modul flip classroom, it's okay. Dekat methodology, boleh letak mereka bentuk, boleh letak membangunkan, boleh letak apa-apalah. Okay. Another example is this one. Designing and developing art intervention activities. Yes, it's okay. In methodology, for SoTL, this is very much allowed because this is part and parcel of your teaching activity. You have to come up with this first, then you have to go on with the implementation. Okay, what I see here is a very good methodology. Ini adalah satu metodologi yang sangat baik because it explain every single thing. Cuma dekat bawah ni kena ada satu lagi section, add discourse or knowledge sharing, because SoTL is about knowledge sharing. So kena ada lepas report writing ataupun journal publication, kena ada satu lagi form kat sini. Okay, this one is your, for example, where is my pen? Oh, okay. This one is journal publication, for example. Okay, journal publication. This one is, you can put it as discourse. Discourse. Discourse mean kita nak share kita punya knowledge tu. So can go for conferences, can go for seminars dan sebagainya lah. Okay. So this one is also a part of SoTL. As I said, you need to state down what you will be doing when you want to share your SoTL findings. Itu adalah sangat penting. So SoTL sebenarnya adalah 3 benda. First one, okay, let me write it down. The first one is you have to take note on the implementation. Okay, implementation. That is the first one. Okay, the second one is, the second one is on the evaluation process. Impact, kena cari apa impact kita, adakah kita punya plan tu berjaya ataupun tidak. Then the third one is how are you going to share your findings tu, macam mana kita nak share. So these three things is what SoTL is all about. Okay, ada pernah someone ask me, Dr. Su, saya buat idea ni, saya ada cari dalam journal and they say this idea is good. So I took that idea and then I apply in my classroom. Tapi saya dapat findings negative. So how? Tak apa, share it. Maybe dalam konteks diorang, benda itu berjaya. Benda tu dibuat di US. Dalam konteks for English people, maybe itu berjaya. Tapi in Malaysia, in the multicultural country like us, maybe benda itu tidak berjaya. So that is a new finding. Tak apa, letak negatif ke, positif ke, letak your impact and you can share it to people so that people know, hey, if I go use this one, maybe it won't work. In America, it works, but in Malaysia, maybe it's not working. So please do share it, even if it's not positive. Okay, so that was one question that was like everybody was asking in their mind but don't want to ask me. So that particular lecturer asked me, okay, I have done this but I got a negative result, so how am I supposed to do with it? Never mind, share it, it's okay. Nobody said research has to be positive, isn't it? Can be negative. All right, okay, so please do take a reminder that your proposal, SoTL proposal, is a SoTL research. Okay, your proposal must be a SoTL research in order for you to avoid disqualification. If it's not a SoTL research, your CHOME will not give you money to do the research. Okay, so make sure it is a SoTL research. And number two, make sure your RQ and RO are parallel, tally to each other, and you are researching on the implementation and effectiveness of the teaching project. Jangan letak design and development dalam kita punya RQ ataupun RO. And do not ask funding for developing a teaching project. Biar itu dia macam udang di sebalik batu. You know, orang tak nampak benda tu. Kita sebenarnya buat, tapi orang tak nampak. So don't just put that, okay, to design and develop a mobile application or to design and develop a video corporate. No need to mention that in your objective. So it's a way of telling, do not ask funding lah. Tapi dekat kita punya budget tu akan ada lah developer tu, tapi kita sorokkan dia, letak di bawah research assistant ke atau graduate research assistant ke. Okay, so please do take this as a reminder. Your SoTL grant is to assess and evaluate the impact of your teaching process and not to develop your teaching project. Don't do that, right? Okay, so that's all for today. I think it's already 4 o'clock. Any questions from the floor?
Okay, terima kasih Dr. Subashini. Okay, kita buka soalan daripada semua pensyarah jika ada. Satu, dua, tiga, empat, lima. Okay, jika tak ada, saya tanya dulu ya, Doktor.
Okay.
Okay. Boleh ke Doktor share sedikit tips ataupun contoh untuk kita tulis problem statement dengan baik? Problem statement, sebab ada sesetengah kita mungkin hantar proposal tanpa kita menyatakan problem statement secara jelas. Jadi sekiranya kita melihat bahawa SoTL ini adalah untuk membantu meningkatkan keberkesanan dan menyelesaikan masalah pengajaran dan pembelajaran kita dalam kelas. Jadi bagaimanakah cara untuk kita menyediakan problem statement dengan baik, dan adakah seseorang pensyarah itu perlu kenal pasti dulu masalah pengajaran yang ada baru mengukuhkan proposal. Bukan sekadar untuk menyediakan proposal tapi tanpa mendalami isu sebenar yang berlaku dalam pengajaran dan pembelajaran tersebut. Mohon bantuan doktor untuk ini.
Okay, I'll share a proposal example untuk perhatian attendees. Okay, sebelum saya share tu, saya perlu selalunya bila kita minta SoTL grant tu, kita dah ada idea kita nak buat untuk khusus apa, kita nak buat untuk problem yang macam mana. So we should have the vision, yeah, we call it vision, that okay, I'm having this problem with my student right now, my student are not engaging. For example, bila kita bertukar daripada face to face kepada online during COVID pandemic tu, kita dapati student susah nak concentrate because dia tak nampak. First, dia tak nampak kita. Lepas tu mungkin dia punya data tak okay. So this is a few problems that you might face. So that is the problem. That is the opportunity for you to do your research. Okay. Then after that, selepas itu kita akan cakap, okay, how do I solve this problem? Then kita akan pergi buat literature review ataupun kita cari journals yang dah memang buat untuk solve this kind of problem and then say, hey, I'm going to apply this in my context. And then only, bila kita dah dapat idea macam tu, then only we say, okay, saya tak ada duit nak buat ni kan. So, macam mana saya nak tanya benda tu. So, we will be going and asking for SoTL grant. Normally, you will have a problem, then only you ask for a SoTL grant. You or your team, any of your team members might have a problem. Kalau lecturer tu cakap, saya tak pernah lah ada problem dalam kelas saya. Itu satu phase yang tidak benar ya. Definitely as a lecturer, you will have at least one single dot of problem when you are dealing with your children. Okay, so because kanak-kanak ataupun student kita ni macam-macam problem diorang. Okay, so that problem you can take it as your opportunity to request for your SoTL. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, second thing, kita tak perlu tulis kita punya problem statement tu macam kita tulis untuk university grant. Kita cari, that means kan kalau kita tulis untuk PhD punya problem statement ke ataupun university grant punya problem statement ke, kita kena berdasarkan problem research gap daripada literature yang lampau dan sebagainya kan. Tapi untuk SoTL, you can just say based on my observation or based on my own reflection or based on my own apa orang cakap preliminary investigation, I have found that my students are having this kind of problem. Tak perlu attach dengan mana-mana sources ataupun tak perlu attach dengan mana-mana what you call that, mana-mana citation because benda itu berlaku dalam konteks kita. Tetapi dia perlu cakap, okay, based on my observation, I have found that my students are not concentrating during the online learning classes due to a lack of data. Contoh. Therefore, I have conducted a few literature review, and I found the way to solve this problem is by blah 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 blah, so and so forth. Okay, then. So kita cakap, therefore I need this money to conduct a similar solution for my problem. Itu saja. Tak perlu buat macam PhD punya gap analysis nak bagi tahu, okay, this is the problem. Because problem yang kita alami tu tak sama dengan orang lain. In my class, I'm having this problem. In other people's class, maybe different problem. So, bila kita ada problem, kita boleh ambil problem itu sebagai kita punya opportunity untuk minta funding nak solve the problem. But kena solve lah the problem. kalau kita minta funding tu tak buat kerja, memang tak solve lah. Okay, so that is what we need to do. So I'm going to share one of the SoTL grant that I have done. So far, this is my second year of applying SoTL grant. I did not apply SoTL grant for the first year. This is my sixth SoTL grant. Tahun ni lah, tengah berjalan. So the one I'm going to share right now is the sixth SoTL grant that I have been. This time they gave me around 9K because I don't have any development, just the method only. So let me share it ya. Saya buka dulu ya. Okay. Right. Okay, the PDF is here, but I couldn't find my Windows. Okay, let me share this here. Okay, can you see the PDF file?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, all right. So this is one of you can take this idea if you want to do in your classes. Yeah. What I did is I investigated the effectiveness of DADIC method. DADIC method ni adalah method baru yang tidak pernah dipakai dalam teaching and learning process lagi. So saya jumpa ni masa saya go through some of the journals dalam training. When they do training, so they use DADIC method. So this DADIC method is enhanced for student digital skills in hands-on digital multimedia classroom. Digital multimedia classroom ni sebab kelas kita dah online, so I call it digital multimedia classroom lah. Kan multimedia selalunya kita duduk dalam lab, lepas tu lecturer duduk depan mengajar. Tapi what happens if it goes online? Kita nak mengajar macam mana nak color-color dekat budak-budak ni? Sorry for the colouring purpose and things like that. Okay, so Doctor, maybe I can share this to you so that you can use it as for future implementation.
Okay, much appreciated, Doctor.
No problem. But let me explain where I found the thing. Okay, this is actually the problem, right? This is actually the problem that I said. Okay, during the COVID pandemic, this was last year's proposal. So during the COVID pandemic, UUM and other university, we have shifted everything to online platforms because we want to make sure the students are learning and the teaching progress are running. But what happened is, how can the lecturers overcome this critical situation, and what is the effectiveness teaching strategies for hands-on courses during the COVID-19 era? It's similar to medical. Medical tak boleh mengajar, kita tak boleh mengajar students pakai online kan? Susah nak buat operation and whatnot. So similarly for multimedia and also for IT, how do you teach student to do animation in online? Nak duduk dekat lab pun tak boleh dan sebagainya. So these are all the explanation that I have given. So hands-on have significant importance. Kenapa CGA ni penting? CGA ni is my course lah, the name of my course. Kenapa CGA ni penting dan sebagainya? Saya cakap hands-on courses are penting sebab student tak boleh graduate and tak boleh join labour market. So, tapi persoalannya ini je. Macam mana kita nak overcome critical situation? Mengajar melalui kita punya online punya classroom. Padahal nak mengajar hands-on tu. Okay, so lepas literature review tu nanti kita akan bagi tahu dia punya solution, lah. Okay, this is the DADIC method ni. Ada satu lagi section untuk solution. Ini lebih kurang UUM punya format, tapi saya tak tahu UniSZA punya format sama ke. Let me find the solution. Yep. Mana solution saya tu? Ke saya terdelete? Saya ada satu lagi section kat sini, ada untuk solution, proposed solution. So I explain why this question. This has imposed an urgent question. How can the lecturers overcome this critical situation? This is my question. This is my problem. So I have one more section, one more division kat sini untuk propose solution. So I propose this DADIC method. Okay, jom kita guna pakai dedic method ni. Let me show you ya. Okay, this one is the dedic method. Contoh. Ini saya punya proposed solution. So you have to write down your problem and you have to propose for a solution. Then only you can ask for your finding. Saya ada beberapa contoh, doktor. Ini mungkin saya dah silap, terdelete. Nanti saya share dengan doktor so that you can disseminate it. I don't mind sharing because sharing is caring actually. Okay, sorry doktor, I think I terdelete. Ini sebab saya tak jumpa saya punya research proposed solution. Patutnya ada, tapi saya tak jumpa. Yeah, somewhere here. So I will explain what I do during the dedic method tu, and then I will evaluate. Nanti saya share yang sebenarnya, doktor.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't find it. Okay. So, yeah. So I think I've answered the question, doctor. You have to come up with a problem first, and that problem maybe never existed and it happens only to you. So and then kita dapatkan solution for that, and then kita minta funding. Rather than you don't have any problem, lepas just minta funding, kadang kita nak minta funding, nak penuhkan KPI kita tu, nanti susah.
Okay, terima kasih doktor. Okay, next question ada daripada kita punya peserta-peserta yang hadir dalam Microsoft Teams. Ada soalan?
SoTL ni dia memang susah kalau kita nak grab as a first timer, sebab kita punya mindset dah fix untuk geran penjanaan atau FRGS yang memerlukan kita untuk develop application atau kita nak kena buat model atau guideline. Kita dah memang fix dalam mind kita macam tu. SoTL ni kena divert sikit je. Kita dah memang ada solution dan kita nak apply kita punya solution tu dalam teaching and learning process tu. Lepas tu kita nak tengok macam mana dia punya implikasi dia. What is the effectiveness? Itu dua benda tu saja yang sangat penting dalam kita punya SoTL grant.
Tapi sebenarnya semua tu okey. Siapa? Ada suara siapa tu? Ada soalan?
Ya, ada. Ma'am, like we are medical teachers, so usually when we do research, we go for the medical research journals, okay, related to the medical findings. But when we come to the teaching related project, you have any specific database for literature review, for teaching project reviews, anything like that? Like, for example, our side, for example, we physiotherapists, we have the physiotherapy journals, like that specific. Like that, when we, as a teaching patient, when we go and do research on the medical teaching, any specific database or any specific journals for that, how to find it? Like just Google it, or
I would recommend doctor to use Google Scholars or Science Direct, very specific databases to find such journal. Because if you just Google, everything will come out, that whatever is not related to the teaching and learning process of a medical doctor also will come out. So I would suggest that maybe you will have a database for the medical teaching itself. I'm not very familiar with medical lines, so maybe you will have that database. So you have to refer to that particular database or journals related to that particular the context, which is teaching in medical line. So do not Google it, because if you Google, you will get all sort of information which is not valid. So I would suggest that you go for specific databases.
Okay, okay, thank you, ma'am. And one more thing, like when we are teaching anatomy, or sometimes we cannot show the real patients, cadavers, or sometimes we use some apps like anatomy app. Sometimes we use the 3D models. So, but everything we are using, but we are not researched it, like how effective it is. But we day-to-day life, we our teaching, we are using all like bone models we are using, a lot of apps also we are showing the students. Even YouTube, we are showing the mechanisms, how the body functions in physiology, everything. But we don't have the evidence that how much is it effective. So, but we think that okay, it will be effective, so we are showing. So, but also we can do take it as a research project. We can do it, right?
Yes, exactly. That's
Okay.
a very good idea actually, because you have been using all these instructional materials, but you are not reporting the effects, or you are not
Okay.
sharing the effect. What you say, you just do it and then you just assume that okay, everything is okay, so I'm okay with it. The student understands, I'm okay with it. But why don't you just share it? Because when you share, that is a SoTL research already. Whatever you have said, sir, just now is a very good SoTL research. If you could proceed with it, if you can ask for funding, then do ask for funding. I think I'm pretty sure Chome will give you lots of money to do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the highlighting speech. Thank you so much.
Okay, next question. Ada lagi soalan? Okey, doktor. Satu soalan dari saya lagi lah, doktor ya. Okey, jika kita lihat sebagaimana apa yang doktor present tadi, sebenarnya majoriti proposal berkaitan SoTL proposal ni sebenarnya di akhirnya dia akan membangunkan satu. Maksud ada development juga. Cumanya kita tidak boleh nyatakan dalam RO ataupun RQ, right, doktor?
Exactly.
Ya, doktor, sebagai satu contoh, doktor, satu contoh, kalau kita membangunkan satu, orang kata apa, satu kerangka orang kata apa, pengajaran lah, maksudnya student practice melalui kerangka yang kita buat tu. Supaya apa? Supaya dia boleh memahami keseluruhan pengajaran dalam satu semester. Itu juga namakan SoTL ke, doktor?
Ya, tapi doktor, kita kena faham, kita tak boleh letak to develop the conceptual model ataupun to develop the framework tu sebagai kita punya objektif.
Yeah.
Dia mesti di sebalik tabir. Orang cakap, orang tak nampak. Tapi kita yang develop. Kita patternise dia ataupun kita boleh copyrightkan framework tersebut. Tapi dekat SoTL, untuk SoTL, for SoTL purposes, we should not put the design and development process into the RO ataupun RQ.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you so much, doktor.
Okay.
Okay, kita buka lagi. Kita ada lagi berapa minit jika ada soalan. Dia, kita ada soalan di YouTube tak, dia? Tak sempat.
Ma'am, when this grant will open, like how to find this grant is open, like the due dates and how to go inside the website link, these details and all, how to get it.
Dr. Zhu, can you help Dr. Vijaya?
Yeah, maybe Dr. Vijay, can you repeat?
No, the website link, how to, sometimes we want to apply, we need the link of the SoTL grant and we need the template to fill it, and we must know the due date, that announcements. So this and all, I need some ideas like clarification. Maybe this month it will be open, or how it is.
Tidak. Biasanya kita akan buat announcement pada semua lah, dan juga di website kita, di website Comel juga kita akan buat announcement dan kita akan adakan satu sesi pembertanian berkenaan dengan geran SoTL ni lah.
Dr. Vijay, I think the information is available in Chomel's website. They will put everything there, and then also the template, because I've seen the template as well. the template of your proposal, the due date of when you have to send it, and also the guidelines on how you want to apply it. It will be uploaded in the website of Chomel, if I'm not mistaken. Chomel, right? What,
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
So you have to be persistent and open the website frequently to see. Normally, they will open the application in June,
Okay.
and you will end it. You will uh, the due date will be 1 or 2 months. After that, then they will give the result in November. I don't know how UniSZA is uh, the process, what is UniSZA going on. But Dr. Zul, please take note that maybe Dr. Vijay is not Malaysian, so he is
Yeah,
not very,
I am from India.
yeah. So
Oh,
bahasa Melayu dia tak faham.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
So
Okay, thank you, Doktor.
Okay.
alright.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Doctor, I think you can refer to the websites, yeah, Doctor?
Okay. Sure. 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 I will ask my friends to help me.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem
Okay.
at all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So, Doktor, just tu, kebanyakan kita memang dah ada pengalaman menggunakan aplikasi ataupun inovasi untuk teaching and learning proses kita. Cuma kita takut nak minta SoTL ni sebab tak nampak SoTL tu apa dia. Sebenarnya SoTL ni sangat-sangat senang untuk kita dapat, untuk kita secure the grant. It's very easy for us to secure that particular grant. But it's just that we need to know how to get it. We have been using a lot of applications, but we never do research to that application. The thing is, for SoTL grant purposes, we just need to implement that particular application and also evaluate the effectiveness of the application. Sangat senang, doktor, kalau kita nak dapat SoTL grant. It's very easy.
Inilah antara soalan nak tanya tadi, Doktor. Doktor jawabnya. Okey, Doktor, mungkin kita dah berada di hujung-hujung program, Doktor. Mungkin ada kata-kata akhir ataupun pesanan kepada semua pensyarah kita? Pesanan terakhir dari Doktor?
I just hope that we all will take this opportunity to apply for SoTL, because SoTL is an internal grant. We don't have to fight with other universities macam FRGS and whatnot. So RMIC, the research unit, has a lot of money to offer to you, but we are very scared to do a SoTL research. Actually, SoTL research is very easy. Trust my words, it's actually very, very easy. When you know how to do it, you will definitely go for it the next time. Okay, so all the best to all of you. I wish all of you will become a very good SoTL scholar, and please do share your knowledge to everybody else. Itu je, Doktor. Thank you so much.
Terima kasih banyak, Doktor, atas ucapan pesanan yang bagi kita betul cukup baiklah. Sebenarnya memang kita perlu war-warkan lagi kepada pensyarah kita. Sebenarnya grant inilah paling mudah untuk kita dapat berbanding dengan grant-grant luar, Doktor. Okey, jadi Doktor, terima kasih banyak atas segala perkongsian, contoh-contoh yang diberikan pada pandangan saya dan juga pada pandangan pensyarah yang tonton juga. Kita akui bahawa pada hari ini kita menimba satu ilmu yang baharu, di mana kita sebelum tak pernah pun tengok berkenaan dengan akan ada interventionnya, konteks yang lebih detail, bagaimana kita perlu masukkan dalam RO ataupun RQ supaya kita lebih jelas sebenarnya apa hasil yang ingin kita dapatkan daripada SoTL ni. Okay. Jadi insyaAllah dah, semoga pembentangan pada hari ini bagi saya yang cukup padu, komprehensif, informatif, diharapkan dapat membuka jalan ataupun idea kepada pensyarah-pensyarah kita, dan mungkin akan datang kita akan menerima lebih banyak proposal, Doktor. Kita record, Doktor, ni ya, kita record, dan mungkin akan ada lagi geran-geran yang memanfaatkan ilmu pada hari ini daripada Doktor. Terima kasih sekali lagi, Doktor, atas satu pembentangan yang cukup bersemangat dan bersahaja pada saya hari ini. Jadi saya harap mungkin untuk akan datang kita boleh berkolaborasi lagi untuk program-program untuk program yang berkaitan dengan SoTL dan juga mungkin untuk mendapatkan sedikit komen berkenaan dengan beberapa proposal ataupun guideline dan sebagainya. Kita harap bantuan daripada doktor lah untuk akan datang. Jadi sekadar itu saja ya.
Saya mohon maaf tak dapat contribute banyak because the short
Dah cukup banyak doktor, cukup baik dah.
2 hours not enough actually to explain, so I have to cram everything, go very fast, so I'm very sorry for that. I hope whatever I have contributed will sedikit sebanyak help our future researchers. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, thank you doktor. Okay, jadi berakhirlah sudah program kita untuk petang ini. Bagi slot kedua UniCeL 2022 dan insya-Allah kita akan adakan sesi penutup pada 10 Mac jam 10 pagi. Jadi oleh itu kita tutup majlis kita dengan surah Al-As dan tasbih kifarah. Okey, terima kasih doktor. Okay, moga kita berjumpa lagi. InsyaAllah nanti kami akan kontak doktor untuk urusan selanjutnya.
Terima kasih, Doktor.
Bye. Okey, jadi para penonton boleh mengimbas QR code untuk kehadiran petang ni.